Hello everybody, it's Jamie from Old Shipping Lines, and today we have a book review again. And this book review shall be the Conspiracies at Sea, Titanic and Lusitania, written by J. Kent Layton. So with that out of the way, let's begin. So I can already hear you guys think, Jamie, do you believe in these conspiracies? Well, I don't, but in this review it's just to review the book itself and share my opinion about it. So this book has quite some chapters. I will talk about the chapters that I found the most interesting, but I will read them to you, of course. So the first 6 chapters are about the Rms Titanic. The first one is substandard, bad design, bad materials. The second one, and one of the most famous conspiracies in my opinion, the wrong twin, the Olympic/Titanic switch. Chapter 3, ships passing in the night, the Californian and the Titanic. Chapter 4, Churchill, the scoundrel. What an title for a chapter. Churchill, the scoundrel. Did Winston Churchill sink the Titanic? Chapter 5, the villainous chairman, J. Bruce Ismay, the most hated survivor. Chapter 6, the Telegram conspiracy withholding the news. Now we move then to the second part of this book, and that talks about the Lusitania. So it talks about the Lusitania from chapter 7 till chapter 12. And the first one is called The Masquerade Disguising the Lusitania. Chapter 8 is called Scoundrel Encore. Did Churchill again conspire to sink the Lusitania? Chapter 9, Secret Cargo and Armament, Guns, Munitions, Congotten, Clandestine Cargo, Explosive Cargo. Chapter 10, The Second Explosion, What was the cause? Chapter 11, Servicing, Did U-20 service after the attack? And Chapter 12, Destroying the Evidence, a cover-up of the damning forensic evidence on the wreck. So, like I said before, I will talk about the chapters that I enjoyed the most. So yeah. So first we shall begin with Chapter 2, The Wrong Twin, the Olympic/Titanic switch. One of the most famous conspiracy theories, I think, out there. And what Mr. Layton does very well is that the way he writes in this book, it's like he's talking to you. So let's say there's a conspiracy, and he's like, how he writes, it's like, let's examine that together. So he talks very personal, or writes very personal in the book, like he talks to you. And I enjoyed that very much. You also have a little box in this chapter that is called Too Exposed, and that is actually more information. Now, on the first chapter, there are little chapters of conspiracy with the Titanic Olympic that he writes about. The first one is that the Olympic and Titanic were not identical twins. The second one is whenever the required visual and structural changes would really have been possible in the limited time available. The third one is the difficulty of keeping the secret for a century and more. The fourth one, that surviving pieces of the Olympic still bear her hull number, while the hull number of the Titanic has been found on the wreck. The fifth one, the fact that Olympic remained in service from November of 1911 through February of 1912 without any sign of distress. The sixth one, that Holland and Wolff was more than capable of repairing even the most badly damaged ships. The seventh one, piece 7, that there must have been an easy way to destroy the Olympic for insurance money. The eighth one, that the insurance carried on the Titanic did not cover her loss, thus rendering the entire scheme financially unfeasible. And those little chapters you will read about in this big chapter. So I hope I didn't sound too complicated. But it basically talks about how the Olympic and Titanic switch couldn't have happened. So that is chapter 2 for you guys. And then we move on to chapter number 4. And that is then called Churchill the Scoundrel. Did Winston Churchill sink the Titanic? And when I read this or saw the chapter, I was like, is that a conspiracy theory? Do people believe that? And actually some people do. And I read this chapter, and again, it talks about all the evidence that the conspiracy gives, and what Layton does. He debunks each of these conspiracies, and in my opinion he does that very well. So it has quite some pages, but I mean, like I said earlier, how Layton writes, it like he talks to you, so your mind, you can't stop reading the book. That is how enjoyable it is. So it has quite some pages of debunking the theory, but that is chapter 4 for you guys. Churchill the Scoundrel. Did Winston Churchill sink the Titanic? And now we move on to chapter number 5, and that is called The Villainous Chairman, J. Bruce Ismay, the Most Hated Survivor. Now, although I think that what Bruce Ismay did was not completely right, I think that history treated him way too harsh. So I just wanted to say that that history treated him too harsh. But again, in this chapter you have small alineas, as I call them. The first one is called, Did Ismay encourage substandard quality of design on construction on the new ships? Did he encourage the provision of inadequate life-saving appliances for all? Did he encourage or outright order more speed during Titanic's maiden voyage? And was he involved at all in decisions after the ship struck the iceberg that could have been contributed to the flooding, the damage, or the speed for which she sank? Did he behave in a cowardly manner during the sinking? What were the circumstances of his ultimate departure from the sinking ship, and was he wrong to save himself? And how did Ismay behave after the sinking? So again, this is a quite large chapter. So again, it debunks and talks about the conspiracy theories, and it debunks them. So that is for you guys chapter number 5. And now we move on to chapter number 8. And now we have moving on also to the Lusitania conspiracies. Now chapter 8 is called Scoundrels and Core. Did Churchill conspire to sink the Lusitania? Again, Churchill, they just can't leave him alone. There are some little alineas, again, as I call them, so let's go over them. Did the British want the Americans to declare war on Germany in the spring of 1915? Was the Lusitania the best candidate for this type of setup? How could the British force the Germans to make the attack and be successful in it? How could the Admiralty have ensured that Captain Turner failed to heed all of the advices available to him? Did the Admiralty attempt to warn Turner of any impending danger? Could the government have done more to assist the Lusitania during that fateful crossing, including offering an armed escort or directing her into the safety of a nearby harbor like Queenstown until the submarine menace had passed? Now, again, quite some little chapters in this big chapter. Again, it all debunks them, and you also have again little boxes with additional information. One is called Diverted to Queenstown, which has a little bit more of information, and it's a pretty long chapter. So that is for you guys chapter number 8. And now we shall move on to chapter number 10, that is called The Second Explosion. What was the cause? Now again, you have a little bit small alineas, so let's go through them again. The first one is called The Torpedo Itself. The second one, A Second Torpedo. The third one, A Boiler Explosion. The fourth one, A Failure of the ship's high pressure steam lines. The fifth one, A Coal Dust Explosion. And the sixth one, Ammunition. And again, it goes about all these little chapters in the book itself. It debunks them. You also have a nice little deck plan of the Lusitania itself in this chapter. And also a little bit of survivor accounts, which is very nice indeed, of course. So that is chapter 10 for you guys. And now we move on to chapter number 11, and that is called Servicing. Did U-20 service after the attack? Did she service, like the chapter says? Did she come above the water or did she stay below? Again, some survivor accounts. Again, debunking some of the survivor accounts. It's not the most big chapter, but it quite has some detail. So that is chapter 10 for you guys. And that is the end of a book review, Conspiracies at Sea, Titanic and Lusitania, written by J. Kent Layton. This is a must read if you are interested in the conspiracies around these disasters. This is a book for you. I bought this book because I was like, conspiracies? Let's check it out. And like I said, how Mr. Layton writes, it's like he talks to you, and that is very hard to do, but at the same time it keeps you involved so much in the story. So I couldn't stop reading this book. So I highly recommend it. Do I personally believe in the theories or conspiracy? Do I personally believe in the conspiracies? I am neutral, but if you believe in the conspiracies, that's your opinion. I respect your opinion, but I'm neutral, so that's my opinion. But if you have firstly, I would like to thank all the new subscribers who have subscribed to my channel. It really means a lot. We are trying to reach the 400 subs together, and I can smell it. We are so close. So let's try to achieve that. If you have friends who like ocean liners or ships, please show them my channel, of course. And leave also your thoughts in the comments, because they help a lot. I will also, of course, leave a link to Amazon where you can buy the book yourself. So with that out of the way, guys, have a good night or day wherever you are, and we will see each other on the next video. Goodbye.